What is the noise? I will defend myself. Oh, it's just the phone. Oh, I was just sleeping. Who could be on the phone? God, I don't want to answer it. Hello? Hello, Mario. I was wondering, since you helped me with the Cat in the Hat book review, could you help me with the Cat in the Hat movie review? The Cat in the Hat movie review. Let me think. No, I will not do that review with me. That movie was torture. Goodbye, and stop asking stupid questions. Ugh. Well, really thinks I'm gonna do the Cat in the Hat movie review? What is he? He's smoking. Smoking. Ugh. Fall back to sleep. Oh. Well, that went fast. I guess I'm gonna have to review this movie by myself. I need help here. The movie's too bad. Well, let's take a look at the Cat in the Hat movie. The Cat in the Hat is a 2003 movie based on the book The Cat in the Hat. This movie is bad, and it is not just bad, it is terrible, and warning signs were already present from the start, because this wasn't the first movie adaptation of a Dr. Seuss book. It was already done in the year 2000 with How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole Christmas was another terrible movie adaptation of a classic Dr. Seuss book. It didn't only ruin the book, but also the 30-minute cartoon that was adapted from the book. And somehow people like this movie. I don't know what they see in it. I hate it. It is awful. But people like this movie. I don't know why anyone would like this movie, but whatever. Anyway, it may not be as bad as the Cat in the Hat movie, but it was still a warning sign that the Cat in the Hat movie was gonna suck. And that's all I have to say about the How the Grinch Stole Christmas in this video. Maybe in the future video I'll talk about it more. Nah. Probably a long time from now I'll talk about this movie. Anyway, back to the Cat in the Hat movie. The story in the Cat in the Hat movie is semi-similar to the book. No, more like 25% similar to the book. Nah, probably like 15%, 10%. Yeah, 5%. Yeah, 5% similar to the book. Where the guy whose name was never mentioned in the book. Yeah, he has a name now, and he's named Conrad, and he's a troublemaker. Consider him uninteresting character number 1. Even though he wasn't a troublemaker in the book, he somehow is one in here. Other than that, he's a very bland character that gets extremely annoying sometimes. The second character is Sally, who can also be called uninteresting character number 2. She has very little personality. Instead of being a control freak, she turns into less of a control freak in the film. That's it for her. And then there's the mom, and she, again, her name was never mentioned in the book, and she now has a name, which I'm not against that. I mean, of course we're gonna have to give them names, but, yeah, it's mainly the personality differences. Like, when was Sally ever implied to be a control freak in the book? Never. And the mom she's useless. She appears in the beginning and the end, and she's only there so that the cat can actually come to the house. Also, there's someone she's going to marry. I call him uninteresting character number 4. I forgot to say that I call the mom uninteresting character number 3. Uninteresting character number 4 is he is he is awful. I mean, basically the main villain, although that's pretty debatable if he even is a villain. All he really does is try to send Conrad to military school because reasons. Also, he wants to get married to the mom. Yeah, it's gonna work out. Anyway, he can also be pretty disgusting in the film as well. I mean, there's one part of the film which really shows that this guy's pretty disgusting. Anyway, and now we have the cat. Oh my god, the cat. The cat doesn't even look like a cat, and is played by Mike Myers, not to be confused with Michael Myers from the Halloween movie series. Anyway, he is a jerk. He is a psychopath, and he is actually a murderer. According to this movie, he also has some of the stupidest jokes I've ever heard. It's mainly the potty humor. I mean, watching this movie, it feels like an Adam Sandler movie because of all the potty humor. And he is so annoying. His voice, his laugh, he does that all the time. And the costume looks horrendous. He doesn't even look like an actual cat. I mean, even the Grinch costume was better than that, but even that's... Well, the Grinch costume was actually good. That's one thing I'll give How the Grinch Stole Christmas credit for. It's the costume. It actually looks pretty good. The rest of the movie is garbage, but the costume looks pretty good. Here, the costume doesn't even look anywhere remotely close to how it looked like in the actual book, or even the cartoon adaptation of the book. The characters and story, they are completely separate from the book. There's absolutely no similarities to the book whatsoever in this movie. Also, the story is like, oh my, the cat comes, he makes some sexual innuendos, he messes up the house. They have to go to some weird. I mean, the crate opens and then some weird CGI portal thing comes with the worst CGI I've ever seen, and then they close the crate. The cat gets yelled at, and then then they yell at him to go. Also, the cat planned the entire day at the end. Everything was planned except him cutting his tail, which was that even him? I mean, that was like the other cat. I mean, there are other cats in the movie. I mean, there's two other cats in the cupcake scene. I mean, I don't think that those cats are actually the cat in the movie. Ugh. And overall, the story and characters in this movie are garbage, and they're just garbage, and they completely insult the classic book of the classic characters and the classic story in the classic book that is so much better than this movie. If you enjoyed the book, don't watch this movie. It is terrible. But the story and characters aren't even the worst part about this movie. The worst part about this movie is the broken CGI. The CGI in this movie is definitely it's worse than the CGI in the Star Wars prequels. I'm not kidding you. It's worse than CGI Jabba from the 1997 version of the original Star Wars. That's how bad this CGI is. The purple goo flying everywhere, it looks so fake. Everything here looks fake. And maybe that's the point. I mean, it looks like a cartoon. Like, maybe it looks like like one of Dr. Seuss's cartoons in a live action format. But no, it doesn't work at all. It just looks choppy. And I didn't even mention the sexual innuendos. Oh my god, they're everywhere. Like, here are some clips I'm going to show you of sexual innuendos and inappropriate jokes in this movie. It's going to take a while. They're basically potty humor. It's stuff you'd expect out of an Adam Sandler movie. So, here you go.
Oh, and you can't forget the time they had an advertisement in the movie. Or what uninteresting character number 4 screamed while he was falling. And I know that's probably not all of those inappropriate jokes, but it is a good portion of them. So, yeah, overall this movie sucks. There are some things I missed, like it could talk about how, the fired gag is pretty annoying, and there's a fish in there that has no purpose to be in there other than there was a fish in the book, so it has to be in the movie. And the two things, which are really just thing, which in this movie they just serve as, well, things. But overall, this movie is terrible. Terrible jokes, terrible plot, terrible characters, and awful CGI. So, what does this movie get as a rating? Well, it gets a 16%. 16%. That is atrocious right there. That is awful as a rating. And 50% for me is like the average. So 16%, that is awful. Anyway, see everyone later in my next video. I don't know what it's going to be about, but it's going to be a video. So, goodbye. The movie's terrible. I watched it and I reviewed it. I deserve a reward for that. Wait a minute. A box? What's this doing here? That wasn't here last time. This is my reward for reviewing that movie? Better be good. Mario, is this yours? No, whatever. And since I reviewed that terrible movie, this better be the prize of a lifetime. Okay. Let's see what it is. Oh my god. The Lord of the Rings Complete Trilogy Extended Edition. Oh my god, this is the reward. Great reward for watching that and reviewing that awful movie. It truly is the complete trilogy. Look. All the movies. It even looks like the book. Or a book. Oh my god. This is the best reward anyone can get for watching a terrible movie like the Cat in the Hat movie and then reviewing it. Well, see you next week. Me? I've got some movies to watch.